pandemic of 2020 changed all the rules, but that doesn't mean that we figured new rules out in 2021. Here to take a look at all the challenges and successes in District 5. I'm delighted to be joined by Councilmember Paul Koretz from District 5. So nice to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and take a look at 2021 in Council District 5.
The city has a homicide rate increase of over 30%. It's partially because of the influx of ghost guns. Once this passes, we will start seeing a reduction in the use of these guns. As one of the initial donors to the Melrose Action effort to install cameras, I committed $10,000 to the fundraising effort. Overall, we've had about a 70% drop in crime in the last few weeks. We're making Melrose safer. It's a safe place to come and shop and play again. I want to start by strongly condemning the attacks against the Jewish community that we've seen take place over the past 2 days.
The LAPD in the city of Los Angeles has a zero-tolerance policy for hate incidents and hate crimes.
Monique was driving home from work at around 5 o'clock, heading east on Olympic, when a 17-year-old man driving a Lamborghini going around 120 miles an hour collided with her vehicle, totaling it and ultimately taking her life. I'm working with the Department of Transportation to put several measures in place that should be helpful in curtailing speeding. We want the city attorney to look at the legal aspects, whether we can hold employers responsible that are blatantly not taking the workers' safety into account on very high heat days. Now that we know that more people have died than we thought working in high heat, we need to make sure that they know they can't just ignore the safety of their workers. When it comes to the city of Los Angeles, my vision for the environment is preservation, to preserve our wildlife and to preserve our species, frankly. You see all this stuff. This is what I call zero-use plastics. Worse than single-use plastics, it goes into a drawer or straight into the trash and from there into a landfill. Today's foodware upon request ordinance is a common sense measure intended to save restaurants money by reducing the amount of stuff that comes home with our food deliveries or pickups. Today, Los Angeles continues to step up its game. Today we launch an initiative intended to eradicate climate pollution caused by our building stock and to do it through community engagement. I'm proud to join you virtually to stand up in opposition to Senate Bills 9 and 10. It's a fight to prioritize affordable housing over luxury buildings in order to produce and preserve units for Californians of all incomes. By striving to ensure that we celebrate the diversity of our community and causing dialogue among our residents so that we may foster an environment of acceptance and embracement, we will help prevent the horrors of another 9/11, for we must never forget. We're here to celebrate the groundbreaking of the Armenian Cultural Center. This was an abandoned fire station. We worked for 12 years to make this a reality, and we're very excited to see it open today. We think this will be a tremendous resource for the Armenian community.
2021 didn't really clarify a lot of things. In fact, a lot of things kind of bubbled to the surface. And I know that anti-crime has been something that you've been very conscientious about for a while. I know that you're against ghost guns and that you worked on making sure that some of that doesn't get into the vernacular again.
Yes, well, first of all, this year we focused on ghost guns, and these are guns that are put together from kits and are sent to the gun enthusiast or criminal in pieces and assembled. And they're really designed and marketed to criminals that aren't allowed to purchase guns. So there's no background checks, there's no serial numbers that could identify the gun after it's used in crime. So this has become a real problem. LAPD has identified about a third of the guns that they recover in crimes are ghost guns. And the numbers have been increasing exponentially. In the last several years, it's a 400% increase. And so we really need to aggressively regulate these. And so we've banned the sale, we've banned the possession, we've banned the transfer. It just makes it much more difficult for someone to purchase and own and use a ghost gun and get away with it. I've been very focused on public safety for a number of years, and I believe I'm the only council member that's had a full-time public safety director during that period for that reason. Particularly in 2021, we had a spike in crime on Melrose Avenue, and it became a national story, really. So we tried a number of things, including things that were somewhat experimental, but putting every resource that we could think of onto Melrose to clean up the problem. So we've had bike patrols and horse patrols and foot patrols and specialized units and undercover. And we've brought in street use inspectors to deal with violations in some of the businesses. We've brought in LADOT to write tickets for people parking in front of fire hydrants and other violations. And we just hit it with everything we could. And more recently, we've worked with the neighborhood watch group Melrose Action, and they're putting up cameras on Melrose. So even before that, we're having tremendous success. We dropped crime, I believe, around 70% on Melrose, and in the last 2 weeks, we've had 0 robberies, which no one can remember a time where we had 2 weeks in the area without a single robbery. So we've gotten the message out to the criminals. If you're looking for a good place to commit crimes, Melrose is the last place you want to be, because we will stop you, we will catch you, and we will prosecute you.
Well, and that's a very positive thing that you've been able to address. I mean, a negative thing that you've been able to address in a very positive way, but there have been some other things that have bubbled up in 2021 when it comes to hate crimes, just, racial and cultural attacks just because of somebody's ethnicity. And I know that that's been an important component of what you have combated as well.
Well, certainly in Council District 5, hate crimes against the Jewish community has been the most salient feature of hate crimes. And we had a couple incidents where diners were attacked, or people just walking were attacked because they appeared to be Jewish. It was very frightening. As soon as it happened, I and my public safety director went out to the scene, talked with people who were witnesses at the time. We met with LAPD officials right away in our Wilshire division and came up with a strategy to protect the Jewish community and institutions. And fortunately, after that, we didn't have another incident of the same type. We've occasionally had incidents where Jewish institutions have been attacked, like someone tried to put a large concrete block through one of our synagogues. But we've continued to work with them. We've created a security grant program to help them pay to sort of harden the target and make it less easy to attack one of the buildings, the schools, synagogues, churches also, mosques, just to make everything as safe as we can in Council District 5.
Los Angeles, and District 5 included, is struggling with a lot of things, and one of the things is affordable housing. And I know that you have been very focused and very thoughtful about the opportunities to build in District 5 to make sure that there is, appropriate growth and appropriate housing. And I know that that's been something that you've been successful at.
It's been difficult. It's been especially difficult in Council District 5 because we have very little open space on which to build, and when we find a spot, and we've suggested over 70 locations, we are constantly driving the district looking for openings. Virtually nothing winds up working out. But we have found a couple sites. We broke ground on one on Santa Monica Boulevard that was an underutilized, in our view, LADOT parking lot, and we were able to move forward with that. And that's also going to be a less expensive project because we're going to use prefab technology. So walls will be built and just connected. So we're very excited about that. We have a couple more bridge housing projects in the works, but it's been just especially difficult. We have tried so hard, and honestly, I think our community has been the most supportive of the communities that I'm aware of throughout the city. We got very little opposition. We got a lot of support, even for locations that didn't work out. But I'm proud of a district that is viewed as NIMBY because they don't always support every market rate development, but they've been very supportive of potential solutions to our homelessness crisis.
Well, and speaking of forward thinking, I know that you have very specific and focused attention to the environment and to making sure that, you know, the future is bright for everyone, and making sure that there is some sort of environmental conscientious tact taken to everything that you do. So I know that that's been a priority for you.
Well, I've been very excited. We've gotten a lot done this year. We just introduced a motion to decarbonize the buildings in the city, both the older buildings and the newer ones, and with an eye towards making sure the cost isn't a burden to building owners or tenants. This is a massive part of the greenhouse gases that contribute to climate change from Los Angeles. So this will be a huge piece of the solution. We also have made progress on protecting our wildlife in the hillsides so it doesn't go extinct, trying to make sure there are wildlife corridors where wildlife can connect and roam and breed and continue to remain in our hillsides. All the mountain lions and bobcats and deer, things people don't even realize are roaming around in our hillsides, especially the mountain lions, which are endangered in this area.
I know that there's, you know, some of the wonderful programs that you were talking about with composting, et cetera, but there is also sort of easy or somewhat easy fixes in terms of just the amount of non-reused disposable things that we have. And I know that you were, you know, kind of a proponent of the plastic utensil ban.
Yes, Councilmember Paul Koretz and I worked together on this to eliminate essentially zero-use plastics. We're trying to stop single-use plastics, but these are plastics that are usually not used at all. They're given to someone when they order food to go, when they have food delivered, and they're at home. I mean, we're during COVID, they're still at home, and they have plates, they have utensils, so they get all this stuff, and they just usually throw it in a drawer or throw it out. So I have a drawer full of it. I brought that to a press conference of utensils that can't be recycled. Even brand new, untouched plastic spoons and forks, it doesn't work in the system. So they're just thrown out and thrown in the landfill. So with this, people will have to either online check a box for what they want, or they'll have to ask for it on the phone. But if they don't want the utensils, it won't be delivered to them unwanted. So we won't waste tens of thousands of napkins and chopsticks and plastic utensils and all the things that we otherwise order and are thrown out.
It seems so simple. Well, thank you so much, Councilmember Kuretz. It's been really lovely having you sitting, chatting with me, and I wish you a wonderful 2022.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Wish you that as well.